For our agent exercise, we chose the business context of upgrading our code repos to remove critical vulnerabilities. And the business value of this is to avoid losing data by cyber attacks, especially with AI tools like Mythos coming online and being exceptionally good at finding vulnerabilities in existing code. So we need to keep our repos up to date and remove as many vulnerabilities as we can in order to protect against losing customer data, maintaining resilience of the systems, preventing loss of, preventing reputational damage to the company by a data breach taking place. So what we have done is, this is one of our repos. We have in here, it'll show you the vulnerabilities that currently exist in this repo. So there's a couple of critical vulnerabilities, a couple of highs, and the rest are moderates. So we're going to try and use an agent to give it a task to upgrade the libraries that this repo uses in order to eliminate critical vulnerabilities. We have this set of instructions that we have built up from previous innovation projects, where we've used GitHub Copilot to upgrade packages in order to get rid of vulnerabilities. So all we're going to do is copy these instructions. They're quite lengthy, but we've built these up over time. There's a lot of tight conditions built into those. So I just paste that into here, and that's just those instructions that I showed you in the file, and then we hit run on that. We can click into this is the agent running within the GitHub website, and if we scroll down, then you'll see the steps that the agent runs through based on the instructions. So we'll talk for a little bit here, then we'll let this run and come back at the end when it's finished, and it'll produce a pull request of the code changes that it makes. Mark, do you want to add anything else at this point?
Yeah, so this agent is configured to run against a multitude of code bases. So it will run against Java, TypeScript, SJS, Angular, and it will scan the repositories and look for the appropriate files, like the POM file for Java, the package.json, etc., depending on what the code base contains. It will also, if there's multiple code types in the database code base, it will surface both changes. In this case, we're looking at a Java repo. And as Colin said, this prompt has been developed over time through various use cases that we've had in terms of our need to upgrade software.
Okay, so the processing is completed. It's given us a brief outline of the CVEs that were remediated. It's produced a pull request, so we can have a look at that. Okay, so you can see it's got description on what we've got changed, and if we go into the files that it's changed, this is the report that is generated on and what is done. We can look at this in a prettier format. So we view the file, then the markdown gets rendered in pretty format. So it gives you some basic information on the software stack that's being used. These were the vulnerabilities at the start. And it shows what it has fixed. So for a particular library, what version it was on and what version it moved it to and which CVEs it addressed by doing so. And the LMIG libraries have been largely unchanged because we have told it not to do these in the prompt because we've had problems with these before. So it's told, then it gives you a table of what CVs are still remaining. So for instance, this Spring Boot, which we can do separately. The final verdict is it's remediated 7 of the ones that it decided it could do, and the verdict on whether we can, its verdict on whether it thinks we are safe to go ahead and merge this code in is a go. So we will, if I go back to the other files, so these other files here are currently unnecessary because we don't have any Groovy language code in this repo or Kotlin. The main changes, the main effective changes, are the version changes that have been made in this POM file. So the human in the loop, the developers will review these changes, deploy it out to an environment and verify that the functionality hasn't changed because of these. And we have found that sometimes functionality does break, so that's why it's still important to have human in the loop. So that's pretty much our demonstration, and the next steps would be doing this in all of the artifacts that we own, and doing them on a regular basis.